So one thing you guys always like though, like worst case scenario, you could always beat the shit out of the audience.
It's a really good point. And I tell you, because people say to me, like, oh, you go around London in the middle of the night, you must be really scared. And I'm like, well, I prepared with 2 years of quite literally being a professional fighter.
You go looking for it.
And
I hide in the
yeah,
shadows from you.
I quite like it. I was at a gig the other night. I was a bringer for a friend. I
Boom.
won't say the name of the club because it
Whereabouts
was
was
the
it?
weirdest. Soho.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
No,
makes sense.
Camden actually. It was
Where?
Camden. It was Soho the night before. Camden. And
Okay, yeah, cool.
I was at we were at this gig and it was the weirdest crowd. So the stage was like in the middle of the room, and then
Yeah,
like it was just like loads of like sofas all around.
yeah.
And the MC told some the MC was mad and like just really high energy for a really low energy room, and told some like edgy jokes that like weren't quite landing, and there was this group of students in the corner, and there was this really drunk bloke that immediately made himself main character. He just kept going, you haven't put the signs up of where the toilet are, and like
Oh,
shit like that, and going, oh, I'll get up there, oh, you're just going to talk to me, aren't you? And yeah, so I can't even remember where I was going with that, but that, yeah, some
beating the
weird
shit out of men
places.
at
And
12 o'clock at night when gigs go
that's
quiet.
exactly it.
Yeah.
Yes. So when I was looking at this guy and I went to my friend, I was like, if he says one more thing, it, you
It's on.
might have to hold me back
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there is something happening inside that's like a subconscious throwback to being in the ring.
Mhm.
So annoying. He was like, shut
Oh, okay, fun. Is it more nervous than the ring?
up. But you know what's really interesting with nerves? I, I find that I don't get nervous or don't care about it at all until like 2 minutes before.
Hmm.
And that's part of that. So you will notice when we are talking that I have ADHD,
Yeah.
and and I'm on medication, which is really wonderful, but I still
One
am
of the
just,
diagnosed ones.
yeah, I'm one of the, I got diagnosed before it was cool, before
Oh,
like everyone, it became like a superpower or whatever that is. That might, it's like, it must be like private healthcare, you get
yeah.
the
Back in the day, you used
superpower.
to never want to put it on like your CV and shit because they'd be like, "Oh, that
I,
now, now
I
people
got
are
told to,
surprised." Gone.
I know, I got told to hide it. I got
Yeah.
told to like not tell employers. And now everyone says it's a superpower. And I'm thinking, I think I must have paid for the wrong
What
drugs or
superpower is
something.
it? I guess like was it like if you're autistic and shit, you can be good at reading cards.
Yeah, I
ADHD,
mean,
like you're just a prick no one wants to sit next to in a meeting.
yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for the way I view the world or whatever, and the fact that I will throw myself into everything without thinking about it. And it's,
It's comedy.
going from 0 to 100 with stand-up comedy. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know how that became the thing that was cool was to have ADHD, because I've always found it to be the thing that quite literally ruins my life.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I mean, I do like like a semi joke on it. Basically, my mum cured me of ADHD in the 90s. She beat the shit out of me when I was a prick. Uh, Standard. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, back in the day, used to be an annoying prick, and that's what it was. But now, like,
Yeah,
it's like accepted. But I always say this: there's nothing wrong with, let's say, any disability. 'Cause obviously, there's fucking not. I hate it when a comedian is there open. Hate that so
yeah,
much when they list it on their first fucking line on a skit. Like, you can do it like
really interesting.
get your first joke,
Yeah,
land it,
because
and then drop it.
I haven't yet
Hmm.
spoken about it on stage properly.
Hmm.
It's something that I would like to develop some material around at some point when I can find a way to make it funny. But I think the thing that I struggle with is that whenever, because of the way that like it's viewed and things like that, I get really self-conscious about being that person that just looks like a prick that's just listing off diagnoses and things like that. And I so because I don't want to come across like that, it's kind of like this area of material that I think could be really fucking hilarious. There's so
Yeah.
much shit that I've done or has happened over the years with my ADHD, and it's been really hard as well. And I think that there's so much funny in there, but I think I'm really annoyed that there's like this. It's become this thing that's like been trivialized, because now I can't really write material about it without coming on stage and sounding like I'm just going, yeah, so feel sorry for me because I've got ADHD, and also, and I
Oh,
get so
dude,
annoyed
million
by
percent.
that kind of thing that I and I don't want so I just overthink it, so I can't really work it into any material at the moment.
I mean,
At some point,
you'll find that quite a bit on what I found, particularly the open mic scene. A lot of it is self-deprecation, and
yeah,
I mean,
100%.
look, I love I do fat jokes, of course I do, but I'm tired of self-deprecation. I'm tired of it. Like I just think like
I know what you
everyone
mean.
wants to be a fucking victim nowadays. Like
Yeah,
so, yeah,
there's a balance to it, isn't there? Because I think it shifts. I mean, comedy, like what's popular and what people like shift, and also where you are shit, like it's different. Like so open mic, very much lots of kind of you get some alternative comedians trying things out, but again, alternative comedy on the open mic circuit either lands or it doesn't. But 9 times out of 10, it's like white guy in jeans and a t-shirt saying I'm single and am I live with my mum and I'm shit at this and I'm shit at that, and it's very much that kind of self-deprecation comedy. And I think for women as well, I think it's almost like you either go all out on being like really up yourself and like really confident and like
yeah,
kind of like that Catherine Ryan energy of being like, oh, I have sex with loads of guys and I'm really hot, or you go down the real awkward self-deprecation route. You just spend the whole time kind of taking the piss out of yourself. And I've found that like through kind of exploring how I want to be on stage that I'm not sure either of those are boxes that I want to be in. I kind of want to go somewhere different, and I can find it quite hard to figure out kind of my angle and persona on that in terms of how whether I want to be, do I want to come across as low status, do I want to be like making fun of myself, or do I want to just have a laugh and tell some jokes that I think are funny. So
okay.
there's a real balance with that, I think.
I mean, like when we all start out, like, do you think you want to do jokes that will like make you like liked, make you more popular, will grow you quicker, or do you just want to go up and do what's you?
Such a good question because it is a bit of both, isn't it? I think those are the things that you kind of you battle with in your head. And I think I I've got this I'm very much like intrinsically motivated. Like I don't so much like in my head picture like aim or like a Netflix special. Like those aren't really tangible goals for me as
Yeah,
much as like doing something and performing something on stage that I'm proud of, that's original, that's authentic, and that makes me laugh and I think is really good and is received well by that audience.
yeah,
So I think that I'm trying to find that balance of like what that looks like. Who's that person? What kind of jokes does she tell? Because I'll go from like I'm on stage, I'm very much kind of like a storyteller type thing. I
yeah.
like kind of
That's my
anecdotes,
favourite
but then
comedian.
also
Love a storyteller.
anything where where you get like emotional, you make a laugh out of it, you kind of make fun of yourself, but with some asides, and like can get a bit political as well sometimes. I do go into kind of like political comedy a little bit, but
Yeah, fun.
I also like day to day making shit one liner puns and like stupid shit like that. And every now and then I'll be talking to like a friend or we were writing together or whatever, and I'll have like all these one liners written down like I wish I could be somebody that could go up on stage and just have do one liners because some of these are fucking funny and
No,
things like
no,
that. But
no,
you
you
just it's just
don't.
not
No, you
I
don't.
don't like watching it. I don't like, and it's not me at all. I have to have it has to be a flow, it has to be stories, it has
Mm.
to be my life.
Has to be.
But then every now, yeah, it's easy to fall
Has to
into the
be.
trap.
Has to be. Look, you can bang one-liners in your bit all as much as you want. Don't become a one-liner comedian. Don't become a one-liner comedian.
It's not for me.
Storytellers
It's
are
not
the
for
best.
me.
I mean, like if you look at all the greats, they are storytellers.
100%. And that's what connects you with an audience, particularly like an audience that isn't a comedy audience. So
Yeah,
if you have a bigger audience or you're going somewhere where they're not like seasoned comedy show audiences,
yeah,
what they will connect with is somebody that can tell a story and engage them and make them feel like, because it's very jarring if you've never been to a comedy show and like Jimmy Carr comes out and says a one line, like one of those like hard hitting one liners or whatever it is. People don't know how to respond to that, and I could never pull that kind of thing off. I'm somebody that has to kind of be like, okay, this is me, this is like we're having a conversation,
yeah.
but sneakily it's quite funny, hopefully.
Okay, but if you look at like the ones like Jimmy Carter, it took them years to hone that until people knew who they were. Like he
Exactly,
wouldn't have
yeah.
done them jokes at the beginning of his career because
God,
no
can you
one knew
imagine a
him.
Jimmy Carr at an open mic in
I
the back
fucking
of a
loved it.
pub in Southwark?
Yeah, I would
It
have
would
loved
be
it.
so weird.
Love it. I mean, like, do you worry about like? I know you said you bang out political comedy, which all for. Doesn't matter which way you swing. I like political comedy, like, but I think like, do you ever sometimes worry like, what if the crowd? There's certain topics that can instantly get an audience's back up because they might not have the insight or the ability to realise it is an emphasised persona on stage.
Absolutely. I think that one of the things from the open mic scene you learn is that there are people that will come up on stage on an open mic and be, and I, as somebody who writes comedy or whatever, not that I'm in any way an expert, can tell that what they're trying to do is make a satirical comment about something, or they're trying to find an angle. And if it's new material, they're kind of blurting out words until they can find that angle.
Yeah,
But the audience perceives it, and because they're not experienced enough, or it's like a second ever gig, it comes across as an old man on stage coming and going, "Why can't I touch up women anymore?" and shit like that. And it's like, I know you can see where they're trying to go. Sometimes they are just it's just rubbish. Like
oh
they
yeah,
are
sound
just
it.
a
Yeah,
not very nice person. But I think for me, I so the Tommy Robinson protest or whatever,
mm,
I remember I was on my way to a gig. I was just going to go through like an existing set, and I was on the train and I was reading about the thing, the protests, and I watched this thing, the Farage, and I got so angry that I just like wrote out this bit where I was making fun of the people at the protest, making fun of the roundabout thing, and I was starting talking about daytime TV and Jeremy Kyle, like all that kind of thing. And I went up and did it. This tiny gig, there was barely anyone there, but it was received really well. And I was like, that's it. That's the thing that I want to do. I want to be able to talk about that kind of thing, try and make it funny and make it enjoyable, but also point out to people and level with people about how rubbish and ludicrous and insane the world is,
yeah.
but be able to find positivity in that. Because I write as and stuff as well, and I've studied like sociology and criminology,
Calm, cool.
and I've worked in quite political spaces and interviewed like sort of activists and stuff. And what I found, like when writing things like that and writing about politics or writing about all sorts of things like that, is that after a while, it is so fucking depressing.
I mean, the idea. I'll
It
tell you,
is so draining.
I've got a political joke I've never used, and I
Go on
never
then.
will use it. You can see if it's got any legs. Okay, so okay, I'm not even written it down as a joke yet, but the pretense is you can judge how much of an activist someone is on a march by their step count. You've done 20,000, like, you've done 20,000 steps. Oh, you've done the whole
You've
march.
you have done the fuck. You've been round London. It's that's like festival level
Yeah,
steps.
you've gone back and forth. Like you did a preliminary march before this. You got the hanging the plaque. 2,000 steps. Fuck off, you phony. I think there's
Ah,
something
yes,
there. I think there's something
yeah,
there.
that's funny. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's interesting. And the other day I was on stage. I was talking about it, and I referred to the protests as like an ocean of thumbs. It's
Mm,
just like it's kind of like the gammon heads,
true.
and then was like trying to bring that out and things like that. So a lot of it is like me getting angry and then going, right, I'm just gonna have to fucking talk about this with somebody. But the thing about what I was like, the difference between that and like writing kind of like not funny political like
Mm,
non-fiction stuff is that what I found when I started comedy and I started like looking at comedy writing is that there is something so amazing about being able to shift perspective through that, like whether it be misdirection, whether it be just like coming at like a weird surrealist approach. But what you can do then is display to an audience or display to whoever is listening how fucked up and how weird and how stupid the world is,
yeah.
to the extent that it's fucking hilarious. Like this is, and then if you can make people laugh around it, it sounds kind of pretentious. There's something beautiful or whatever in that, and I like that.
I mean, there's always a lyric from a song that has stuck with me all throughout my childhood. Now, like I was a skater, I was a rocker. It was OPM. Heaven is a half pipe.
Yeah.
You know the song?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, if I die before I wake. That one. It goes,
Yeah, yeah.
and if you don't believe in Jesus, Muhammad or Buddha too, then whilst the world is warring, I'm gonna sit back and laugh at you.
Interesting.
And that has really
Yeah.
stuck with me. It's like the world is shit. Everyone like it's so bad, and like you've just got to take a step back and be like, what the fuck, man? Like
Yeah.
this is like
Yeah.
you've got to laugh at people so like devout
Yeah.
to mystery man in the sky, and they're doing this on behalf of everything and someone else, which is pure fiction.
And yeah, it's really, I mean, yeah, because religion is another one. I mean, because I'm not religious at all, and
No,
I
so
find there's part of me that's like I envy you because
mm,
I it must bring some peace because my God, the world, like I have no answers, but
yeah.
at least if you have faith, you kind of think you do or whatever.
A million
But
percent. If I ever won an Oscar, I would be sucking my own dick on stage. I would not be thanking God. No one. I'll big up my mum and my two dogs.
yeah,
Like I would not be thanking God. Like this is me, bitch. I did all this. Like, Joey, I ain't giving no one
oh, I
else credit.
like that.
Like,
Yeah. Oh,
it
that's brilliant.
is ridiculous. So like, Joe, I've not even gone from the beginning. The first question I usually always ask, Ella, how and why did we decide to do comedy, and when and where? I know who. That's
Mental
you.
mental breakdown.
Good. Thank you. Good. Love it. Love it. I love a breakdown story because
Yeah,
listen, everyone, and this is 126, 127 episode. I hate people who are like, Joe, what? I just want to give back to the world, make people smile. No, fuck that. I want to hear your agony. I want to hear your pain. Give me your X Factor story of, yeah.
yeah. I mean, so I
How old are you now, Ella?
23
Oh, okay. Okay, I was saying, Joe,
baby.
in 2 years, you'll be classified as the mature bracket in X Factor.
I went back to uni as an adult when I was 22.
22
I
as
got
well, gang,
treated
gang.
like I got treated like a geriatric.
Yeah,
They and you go there and I tell you what you realize when you go back and you're 6 years older than everyone is that 18-year-olds are really stupid and really annoying
yeah. And
and
pussies
there
can't
is
drink for
such a
shit.
big difference. It was insane. And like they would look at me and I'd say how old I was and they'd be like, oh my God. And like you have to like sign all these forms to say you're a mature student and like you feel like you're like this really old person. It's insane. I had to teach this group of people that I was living with how to use an oven because none of them had ever heard of an oven before.
It's mad, isn't it?
Insane. But yeah, no, I started comedy. So I did I was a professional kickboxer for a couple of years. I did Muay Thai kickboxing, and I was a coach. And then I retired from that because it's it's amazing and I loved it, but it's a real toxic.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know it was
I
a
was
toxic space.
yeah, I mean, I was the where I was the only woman. And there were some really lovely people, and I had a lovely coach and stuff like that. But it was so male dominated, and there's so much about like weight loss. Like, so I just ended up like with an eating disorder and just exhausted all the time. So then so I retired from that, and I ended a relationship that was really tough, and he was big into drugs and not me. So I kind of just like completely had to reset and I moved back in with my parents, and I started a new degree, uh, and my family run a bookshop which is
Okay.
also a music venue and a comedy venue.
Oh, so you
And
stay on a little night there.
yeah,
Love a bit of nepotism.
so I slowly like started like nursing myself back to health, and I became a director of the shop, and studying the degree, which you realize when you're an adult doesn't take as much you'd think. So I had quite a lot
Mm.
of time. And once I was like healthier, I realized that I loved listening to and writing comedy. So I just kind of literally on a whim um, just signed up for the Bill Murray comedy course with Ben Target.
Yeah. It's a
and
good
went and
one, the
did
Bill
that.
Murray comedy course.
Yeah, and Ben's amazing.
Yeah,
He's just the nicest person. He's really sweet. And Bill Murray is such a nice place, and it's just,
yeah.
comedian run and all of that. And I think that because it was on a whim, but what those courses do, and I know that they get a lot of shit courses. People say you can't teach comedy, blah blah blah.
No, no, that's ultra
And
comedy. Get shit on.
yeah, and it's not what I think is what it does is it gives you a group of people that are also new,
Mm,
a forced space every week to come and talk about your ideas and learn a bit about stagecraft, and then a forced show in a friendly environment
yeah,
so that you're not just going up for your first gig in some random pub that you don't know anyone and the MC is a nightmare and you have to, So it was amazing and I really enjoyed it. And then me and me and one of the people from the course, a friend of mine, have kind of banded together and just been gigging twice a week ever since then, and setting things up
yeah.
and just trying to like figure it out as we go and embracing being new, and embracing being yeah, beginners and just figuring things out and trying to write together and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a bit of a weird whirlwind few months.
I mean,
Looking forward to it.
before you started it, were you like, oh, everyone's gonna be shit, gonna go up there, fucking kill it? Like, was you shocked about the caliber of some people who are nobodies?
Ironically, no, I was the other way around. I thought that everyone was going to be amazing apart from me. I thought that I kind of had literally no idea what to expect. And I used to sing, I like in bands and stuff and
Oh,
perform. So I've done like performing,
you did
but
a do re mi.
uh-huh.
You did a do re mi. Do re mi fa sol. Oh, that's all I did.
Oh, yeah, that was incredible. I
Thank you.
think you've brought me to tears.
I know, emotional.
Um, I've done like performing in that sense, and I at the shop I'll do in front of like an audience, kind of like 100. I've done like interviews with authors, so like and things like that's where I've interviewed people. But I'd never done anything like stand up. And I think my first thing was like walking into the room and thinking, okay, so who are the other students and what do we think of them? And and it was like meeting all of these people and not really knowing what to do. And there was a girl came in who was really beautiful, and I
You hate
immediately
already.
was like, oh right, I'm going to be shit because she's better than me, she's prettier than. So all of those insecurities came out.
It's
And
like
then
going
what I
back to high
learned,
school and shit. Well, secondary
literally,
school,
it
yeah.
was literally like that, yeah. And what I realized is that everyone is completely different. Nobody knows what they're doing, and it is fucking weird. And we just had
Yeah.
a right laugh. And yeah, no, it was really really good. And then we had the showcase at the Angel, Bill Murray pub, and yeah, from there it was on the forums, on GigGag app or
Yeah.
whatever, and
Facebook, all
just
that. Yeah.
booking and figuring out how to write and shit like that. It's just, yeah, learning as you go, really.
Yeah. I mean, how do you find? I mean, I'm not going to go into it too much because I think I've slagged Bringer Spots off of the 124 episodes I've done. I think I've done one episode now. I was really happy I haven't mentioned it. What are your thoughts on Bringer Spots being this early?
It's so tough, isn't it? There's the
Both
one
ends,
thing
yeah.
as a counterpoint, the only thing that I could say that stands for them is that it does mean that occasionally you have an audience where there is at least some people there that aren't comedians that are just going to analyze everything you say and might actually laugh out loud.
So like a normal
But
gig.
yeah, like a normal gig. Exactly. Yeah, I know. And but I mean, it's hard because I don't live in London, but I travel into London
Yeah.
and gig. I get the train up because it's an easy train. So when I'm a bringer for someone else, it's a 20 quid, hour and a half journey up
Yeah, but don't
to.
you feel it's almost like so you're a bringer up, you got to go to a gig. It's like going to the gym but not being allowed to work out.
Yes, yes. I had this conversation with my friend who I gig with a lot, the other day. He came to one for me, and then I went to one for him, and we both looked at each other and went, "I hate."
Yeah.
If you're a bringer and you're a comedian, it's really tough
Yeah.
because you want to be on stage. You
Mm.
don't get any of the like kind of adrenaline of it being a nice of having been on stage, but you've had to sit in a dark room miles away from home to
Yeah.
in the middle of the night.
A million percent. I mean, like I said, I've never done a bringer spot, never will do a bringer spot. fundamentally
Mm.
against them. I got hated on. 'Cause I made a Muslim joke and people called me racist. Like some promoters hated on it, but weirdly enough, I got booked for about 3 or 4 gigs in North London. Why North London? I wonder. We can all draw our own
Dear
conclusions
me.
on that one. But one of them was a
It's
bringer, and I was like, no, mate, like, I'm not doing it. Like, I don't know. I just don't think they're needed. I think if you're an open mic, you can do whatever the hell you want. But the second you're charging somebody to go into a place,
Oh yeah, 100%. I
that's a
mean,
cash cow.
if the tickets, if it's like ticketed and you have to pay to get in, then I think that's really weird. I mean, most of the bringers that I've done have always been yeah, as you say, open mic, and sometimes you are grateful that there are people there that aren't comedians, because I've also done like just open mics where the audience has just been comedians, and that's nice, but what I find is
It's
they do
not
this thing
nice.
where
It's not nice. You're being polite. It's not nice. It's
they
fucking
yeah
shit. They're
they
not
look at you
listening.
and they just
They're on
kind of
their phone.
they're
Yeah,
not listening, they're like thinking
yeah,
about their stuff, or they're judging you, and or so there's three different things they do. They're either thinking about their own stuff and looking at their phone, or they're looking at you and like analyzing everything and judging everything you say and trying to think of it, and like but not laughing because they're too in their own head. Or and the third thing they do is they sit there and they just smile, and I'm
yeah.
like, if you find it funny, I need you to laugh, because this is new material, and if you don't, like, I'm not saying you have to laugh at everything I say, because that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is I need to know if this material works. So if you sit there and smile with this like distant look in your eyes because you're not really paying attention but you appreciate the joke, that doesn't work for me, because I need some response. That's the whole
Yeah.
point.
And also,
I
don't
remember
give me a
sitting and doing
sympathetic laughter either.
no,
That's
yeah,
worse. I'd
and
rather
then you can't
silence.
tell then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember doing like a set that kind of I knew worked, but I kind of added a couple of bits with to a room just full of comedians, and I was kind of going through it, and they were murmuring on the bits that I knew worked, and then just kind of smiling, and then they were distracted or trying to set up their tripods for when they were on, and I was like,
Oh, I fucking hate
why am
that
I
so
here?
much. Hate that. Get it set up before you go on, you prick.
Oh, you're like just looking at this kind of group of people going,
Yeah.
and smiling. And I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Just,
And also,
just,
why are you recording a fucking set where you're not going to get the best audience reaction because they're all comedians? What are you getting out of this? Look, if you want
mm.
to look how you are on stage, all that shit, but it's yin and yang. It all comes together. When you've got a good crowd, you do better on stage. Your hand movements are better. You're feeling it more, to be
It's
honest.
so true. When you've got a good crowd, and you've
Mm.
an MC that's warmed up the room really well, and
Yeah.
you've got a good mix of people in there. Yeah, there's some comedians that are on the lineup, but you've also got some actual punters, or friends of comedians that appreciate comedy or whatever. And when it's like that and the room's with you, that's when you learn what works and what doesn't, because they're
Yeah.
responding to you in the right way. And
Even,
those gigs are really
even
amazing.
with bringers spots, all that crap, how do you gauge if your material's good or not? If you're falling in
Yeah.
front of 5, 6 other people, like let's even say like below 20 people, how can you tell if your stuff's good or not? You've got to get in front of a bigger audience to say,
Mm.
look, let me try this. Is it good? But how do you get that? It is fucking carrot and donkey, whatever the fucking saying is.
A hundred
Like,
percent. I'm completely with you on that. I think that's one of the things that I've found really hard, is that there's something about like the kind of I end up getting really existential like when I'm writing and stuff, because it's so like ephemeral, and it's so like you can't know whether things work or not. And when you're in like this on the open mic circuit, and you're just kind of doing 5 minute gigs, and it's just kind of most of the time you're kind of rehashing material to try and like really get it right. You might start trying new material, but then you're thinking, well, this crowd doesn't represent, it represents a very tiny or and very strange subsection of who I might end up performing in front of. So
and
I just
especially in
don't know.
London, where we can't laugh at jokes.
It's yeah, I mean it is yeah, and you end and that can be draining as fuck,
Yeah.
because it feels like it's, especially if like you're traveling into London or the gigs are well, like miles away. It's like you've gone all that way, you're on stage for 5 minutes, and you're trying to, and you've got this material that you've worked really hard on, and you're trying to figure out if it works, but there's like four people in the audience. They don't really like you. They're tired and they weren't expecting
Yeah.
the night that they've got. And that's really hard. But I will say that there are some really lovely open mics in London as
Oh, man.
well.
Have
I
you
have been
done
to some
Vowels
really.
yet? Have you done Vowels, Gaff? Low stakes.
No. Oh yeah, done low stakes. Yeah, low
Yeah.
stakes is a really, really lovely night.
Yeah. That's where I started.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, I did that recently. A friend lives near there. I Lollipops. They're quiet gigs, sometimes the open mics, but they're really lovely, and the MCs are really nice, and you actually get a good responsive crowd that you can like. They're perfect for new material.
Yeah.
I love them. So there
TNT?
are some really lovely nights.
Tuesday, TNT?
Yeah, yeah. I did Tuesday. I did TNT last Tuesday.
Oh,
This
did
Tuesday.
you? Oh, a lot of
Yeah,
my mates went
yeah.
there. Adam Wallace, fucking brilliant, isn't
Oh, he's brilliant. Yeah, it
he?
was, you know what? That was one of the best gigs I've done in a while. It was absolutely brilliant because the
Yeah.
lineup was just because it's a long gig. There's like 20 people on
I
that
was
lineup.
Raj there as well. Raj Gervais looks like a gay Indian Freddie Mercury.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes,
he's
he
good, isn't he?
was. It was a really good
I
night.
think
And
Deepak Patel was there as well.
yes,
Yeah, he
it
looks
was,
like
yeah,
a
it was
Indian
brilliant. And
magician. Oh, my boys. Yeah.
I love
Uh,
that. And it's because those nights, because it's a really long bill, so like you
yeah.
can go into it thinking, oh, this is going to be knackering. But I loved it, and it's so well put together. The MC's right up there, keeps the energy going. It's yeah, a really good night. So nights like that. So the video that I got from that, I learnt a lot from because
Mm.
the audience was responsive.
Yeah, it's a
Everyone
good
was
room.
up for it.
It's a good room. All
Yeah, really, really good. So things like that, I'm so grateful for because
right.
that's where I've learnt
The
most.
question then, I'm playing pure devils here, dude. Why is that one not a bringer? Why is it not a bringer? It's an open mic and it's fucking killing it.
Is it not a bringer?
No,
I had a bringer.
TNT's
But
not.
I might have just brought a bringer because I'm so used to bringing bringers that I thought I needed a bringer.
Benefit
Please
of the
don't
doubt.
tell nobody tell my friend that he didn't have
no,
to come all the way to where we were
no, no,
and
no, no,
spend
no.
four
You
hours
got to let
there.
her know so you've still got one in the bank. Like, you didn't actually have to come that way. It doesn't count.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
It doesn't count. You've got to come to Birmingham with me next week.
yeah. I mean, like,
No, yeah, that's
have you
true because
thought
they
you've been
get a good
going the wrong
audience.
way?
What do you mean?
Like, you're going into London. Well, I'm not going to give you, John. I'm not going to give you bloody coordinates of your address, but you can like
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
down
I
to
know what you mean.
Portsmouth, like go over to Bristol, maybe.
Yeah, I haven't tried those. I mean, Bristol is a lot harder to. So where I live in a town called Alton, which is at the end of a commuter line. So it's an hour train straight to Waterloo. So it's quite a simple journey into
Yeah.
London, whereas like Bristol and other places are harder. But I do drive, so and I haven't tried places near here. I think Portsmouth's like an hour and a bit journey drive. So I think it's also because I did the course in London, I the people that I met and like kind of the scene that I was introduced to was the London open mic scene. So
Yeah.
I wasn't really aware of anything else. And obviously I'm on like all the Facebook groups and stuff
Yeah.
now. And you see bits and bobs elsewhere. I mean, I don't know much about the circuit in other areas.
Right.
Like
I'll
I
say
know
now,
that
you will fall in
Hampshire
love with
isn't
it 10 times more. A
really. That's
million
really
percent. The
interesting.
second just when I started gigging out of London, like I got my 10s, 15s. I'm now like I do occasionally. I go back into London, like without being egotistic. I'm opening for Jason Patterson in November.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
20 minute
Nice one, mate.
top secret. Like, but you got to go out of London and network. And I know everyone listening who is a comedian not in London, they all 1,000,000% agree with me. Go to
Mm.
Bristol, go down to Southampton, Portsmouth, Bournemouth. You'll go get 10s, 15s off the cuff in front of 20, 30 people who are there for comedy, not bringers.
Yes.
And you can joke about whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, see, that is really lovely. And I think that is like, that's definitely one of my next steps is to start thinking about that. And I think, um, yeah, as you say, it's hard to know around here where things are because it can feel a bit middle of nowhere in Hampshire. But I know that there are some spaces in Guildford and Winchester and Portsmouth and places that would be really good to try out. I mean, because I at the shop that I run, we had our first comedy night mixed bill pro night. I wasn't performing obviously, but
Oh, that's where you got to slip
recently.
yourself in the middle.
Well, yeah. So we've got an MC at the moment, but I'm like every now and then I'm going to be like,
Who's the
so do
compare?
you need me to? His name's Damien St. John. He runs a podcast comedy network called Podomedy. But he lives in the area. So he's like a comedy podcaster, but he used to do stand up. So he's been our promoter working with us, and he kind of helped me organize this gig, and then we've put this together. And I realized I was so nervous to see my kind of two worlds come together. To have this like mixed bill comedy night in the bookshop where I do everything, and we had it, and it started, and it was so interesting to see a different crowd for a start.
Yeah.
um but they responded so well. It was amazing, the energy was great, and obviously this was a pro mixed bill gig, so it's not quite the same thing, but it was really great to see. But the funniest thing obviously was that this woman came on stage and went, a really excellent comedian, came on stage and she was like, oh, are there any gays in the audience? And I live in a small town in Hampshire. No one answered.
How did
So
how
it
did
was
how,
just,
how did she end that?
um I think she went on to be very funny, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, just me. That's fine. I'm in Alton. Of course, there's no gays," and that was literally it. Like it was things
Right.
like that. Is
No,
that
I'll make sure no one's stealing my tag. I do that. I do a gay bit, and I know it's so simple. Are there any gays in the audience? Yeah. Oh, thanks for coming out. Want to make sure my tag's not being stolen. Panicked there.
No,
Oh,
no, she didn't steal that, because we had Trevor Bickles as well, who's the London cabbie who does the Michael.
yeah.
He was
Need to carry
there.
on. Yeah.
He landed brilliantly. He was very funny. But yeah, so it's really nice. It's really interesting to see it outside of London. That was the first time I'd seen proper comedy outside of London. So you see that the response is different, and that it's a very different vibe. And I think
So
I'm
all
excited
the Northerners
to
have just gone. Oh, you like proper comedy? Not isn't in London. Like
see.
I know 100% my Northern listeners would
Yeah.
have said that. I got to the tag before you, you pricks. So
I respect that 100%, because almost like many of my favorite comedians have been Northern. Like my granddad's from Yorkshire, so I
okay,
grew
sorry
up
to hear
kind
that.
of being educated on all of that stuff. And yeah, I big respect for Northern comedy. I think it's brilliant. Amy Gledhill is one of my favorite female comedians.
Okay, who else?
She's excellent. Her Chris Cantrell, um,
Yeah,
her uh, Ian Smith, he's hilarious. I like Scottish comedy as well.
right,
Um, Kevin Bridges, obviously.
Dan.
I'll tell you who I love at the moment is Pierre Novelli.
Right.
Big love for Pierre Novelli.
Okay, so mostly UK. The one I'm absolutely in love with at the moment is Adam Ray.
Yeah, I
American.
don't think I've heard of him.
He's American. He does a lot of character comedy, and I like. Do you know Dr. Phil?
Yeah, yeah.
He does an impression of him. I tell you now, if you've got time, watch him do Dr. Phil. I've got it on pause right now because I
That is
live comedy.
brilliant.
It is the funniest thing you'll ever watch in your life, and I'm like learning a lot about comedy doing him. I mean,
Yeah.
female comedian wise, I mean, I was privileged enough to speak to my favourite female comedian 2 days ago, Lou Conran. You know her?
Wow. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
she
amazing.
compares the store a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I do.
but she is a fucking beast in
Is
the game.
funny.
And like, okay, because I know. No, I want to bang on to female comedy in a second. The one I wanted to do since the beginning, but you really haven't let me speak. You're joking.
Embarrassed. I told you. I did warn you.
Is So you're a writer, dude.
Mm,
What's your writing process?
comedy. Not me, mate.
Please, yes, please, yes.
So
Not the art of war that I see on the back there. You
it's
know.
writing comedy. I go round in circles, panicking, being a perfectionist, not knowing what it is. I've read loads of books about it. I
What was your favourite book?
It's
Just out of curiosity.
Logan Murray,
Yeah,
very good. Chris Head.
yeah. Have you done Adam Bloom
Um,
yet?
yeah, so I love Adam Bloom.
I've
His
had
book
him on.
is, I know you have.
He's
His book is excellent.
brilliant.
A
Yeah,
very excellent book. I
I had to buy his book because I had him on.
I've already read
But
it.
it's a great book. Like, it's
It
like
is, yeah. I think the thing is, you can overread and you can overconsume and
yeah,
you can start to overthink. And I think that I'm massively, that's me. And I always found it so funny because I'd listened to so many interviews with comedians trying to figure out like, how do you do it? How do you create that? What is your writing process? What do you do? And nobody ever gave like an answer because it was always like in my brain, I wanted somebody to say, right, this is what you do. You sit down and you use this worksheet and then you have jokes. It doesn't fucking work like that, particularly for the style of comedy that I do, which
Yeah.
I've fallen into, which is more storytelling. And so you kind of just have to figure things out and learn along the way. And so I would pull together like anecdotes of things that happened to me that found I funny. And then I will look at why that's funny and how I can punch up the story to make it something that's funny on stage.
Punch up
Nine
as
times
in
out of ten,
make it
as
better.
in, yeah, make it
Okay, cool.
better, shift it, shift the angle, find a way to tell it that's not just, oh, I went to the shop and this woman was really weird. Try and make it something that's interesting and figure out angles and stuff like that. And I think that it's a slow process of just doing that over and over again until you figure out things that are going on. And then I think one other thing that's helped me actually is, um, and I think some people shit on this a bit, but like learning about structures of jokes, like some of the basic like buzzwords like pullback and reveal and callback and all of that. It sounds like to do that. Sometimes I feel like to say that you do that is like cheating or it's just like babyish or it's like really basic. But the thing it's not that you use those as like a guideline as a like hard and fast rules. It's more that if you start thinking like that and you start like writing stupid jokes or things in that sense, your brain starts to work in that way. And then once your brain starts to work in that way, once you find the things that you actually want to talk about or the funny stories that you actually have, you find it easier to punch it up and understand how to make it stage worthy, if you know what I mean. And
Well, I mean, well, if you bring that to like kickboxing or I'll just say punching, I know how to throw a punch. You know how to throw a punch, but you know how to throw a punch. Mine
yeah,
is you know what
yeah,
the intrinsics behind it, what works
yeah,
to make it more
the
powerful,
mechanics,
to
yeah.
do the thrust, like
It's very
you've
good.
learned, but then learning about that has then become part of your muscle memory. It's become
Yeah,
part of your core, so you no longer have to think about it.
exactly. Yeah. And I think that's the bit that's really helped is me being like, okay, well, sometimes you're going to sit down and try and write something because I do like I'll be like, right, sit down, you have your laptop, you've got like a book next to you, you've got a notepad, you've got a couple of ideas, and you sit down and there's this blank page in front of you and you go, right, be funny. Doesn't fucking work, does it?
No,
As absolute bollocks. And I will sit there, and because it's bollocks, and you can't just sit there and be funny on a blank page, I then go, right, what the hell are you doing? Why are you gigging? Like, what are you like? You're not funny. What are you doing? Like, you don't deserve. Like, what the you have been fooling yourself for months.
yeah,
But then you go away for a minute. You notice something. You write it down on your phone. You it's random. The
oh
times
yeah,
where I've written bits have been on a train, and I've been like, oh, and then I'll just type something for 10 minutes, and then I'll come, and then the biggest thing is type something and then leave it for like a day and come back to it to figure out whether it's worthy to go on stage. Because 9 times out of 10, the things that we notice in the world aren't that funny. We think they're funny at the time. You nearly note something down. My notes page is like a million scrolls
yeah,
long. Most of it's bollocks. Every now and then I'll come back to one of the things that's on there and I'll go, oh, hang on. I know how to make that work now. And you just it really is that random. And I hate that. I wish it was easier, but
yeah.
it's
We
not.
wish there was a formula, dude. There's
It's
no formula.
fucking weird. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you just kind of get used to that kind of being in the unknown zone. Um and developing it. And I think one of the things that I found hardest was the idea of like knowing how to go from being having like 5 minutes of material to then building that up and how to know whether those things work and when people say they have their club 10 or their club 20
Yeah.
and what that means and then people are like oh when you want to go into an hour long show and in my head I'm going I don't even know if my first joke on my 5 minutes set is worth anything. I don't know if all the audiences I've had so far have just been lying to me. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
get so in your head.
Imposter syndrome. You'll get every second of every day.
it's constant. It is actually constant, and I think you have to. One of the things that really helped me is every now and then doing things that are not related to comedy, and
Yeah.
completely switching my brain off
Oh, a
from it
million percent.
because
Yeah.
you like you're I'm sure you'll know this, like, because you get into that mindset of like being an observer of the world and
Yeah.
trying to like look for things to use for your material. It means that your brain is always going all the time. You're always thinking that everything you do has to be going towards your comedy career. So I find that the TV that I watch, I'm like, oh, I should probably watch that stand up that I've not seen their special so that I can see if there's anything interesting, like what they're doing, or I'll listen to that, or I'll read that book. And so anytime I get downtime, I'm always thinking I'm trying to like learn. But what that means is that I'm not living, and therefore I can't make jokes about anything because I'm not actually doing anything. So every now and then I just have to
Million
be
percent.
like just shut the comedy brain off and just go and watch something shit, or go for a walk and don't think about it. And that's when all of a sudden you're like, oh, there it
Yeah.
is.
That's when it comes to you. I mean, I
You
like.
just end it with a
I'm
mum
just
joke.
guilty as that. I'll treat the cashier woman as the like crowd work.
Literally.
So, okay, fun one. How is your crowd work?
Very new, so I've not, this is right. So two
It's
things.
hard to do on the open mic set and bring a sponsor. It's
Yeah,
hard to do
that's what I was
crowd
going to
work.
say. I'm very new, so I've not had much time to develop that. In the open mic, if you're doing a 5 minute set, I will say that one of the most annoying things that I've ever experienced is when I watched somebody come up an open mic with 5 minutes and just spend the whole time doing crowd work, and just, but not crowd work, just being like, oh, I had a breakup. Does anyone have a breakup story? And then just got the audience,
Mm.
some random audience member, to tell the breakup story, and then it was the end of her 5 minutes, and I was like, well, what was that? So
Yeah.
you can't really do much. But I've noticed I do always try and be as in the room as possible. Whenever I'm like watching the people in the lineup before me, I'm always like kind of making little kind of notes in my head,
Yeah.
or something about the room. I really don't like going on stage without something to say about the room, or about
Oh
like
yeah,
the
they always
previous
say yeah.
comedian.
No, it's like about the
Like
room. No, it's
everything,
like
like I
previous
hate,
contract.
I can't go up without doing that. Like, I mean, I think it was like yesterday or something, this guy told a really funny story about being blackmailed out of 10 grand by an OnlyFans model, and he
That
hadn't
happened to
paid
one of
her.
my
So
mates. That was one of my mates. Yeah.
he's brilliant. I
He
love
got, no, no,
him.
no,
And
no, no, not him. That happened to my mates. She
oh,
got
did
him to like
he?
jerk off in webcam, and then threatened to send it to
Oh,
his family, and he was like, "Send it. I ain't got 10 grand."
yeah. So that's exactly what happened to this bloke. So I obviously then went on next and went, yeah, you still owe me that 10 grand.
Brilliant.
And
Yeah. Cool.
that's, I have to start like that because that really helps me feel like I'm in the room. So that's as much crowd work as you can get out of a 5 minute set. But longer sets that I've done, I will interact with the audience more. I did a set at Private Members Club, with some friends recently, and it was a 10 minute set, so I had that time, and other comedians had done crowd work, so I knew the names of people in the front
Yeah.
row, and you get that. And I think it's a real skill, and I really respect it. And I think that one of the things that crowd work does that I've kind of noticed, is that it helps the audience feel present, it helps the audience feel engaged, it keeps the energy up. And unless you've got people in the front row that have seen so many Jimmy Carr clips that they think that crowd work means that they have to like call the comedian a cunt,
Yeah.
or
They have to heckle
like,
and shit like that.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
stuff like that. If you've got a good audience, it can really help.
who was I speaking to the other day? Fucking great female comedian. She's gonna kick me in the nuts for forgetting her name. She's Canadian, now lives in Manchester. Alison June Smith. Fucking amazing.
Oh yeah,
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 amazing,
she's
amazing
brilliant.
comedian. And she was like, places in like LA now, New York, if a comedian goes up and does just crowd work, they'll bar him because it's
Oh,
now because they
really?
say we're here to see your comedy, not do crowd
Yeah.
work. But with social media and all that shit now, like I will say, Paul Smith's one of the goats of crowd work. Scott Bennett, goat at crowd work. We go to Pretty Boys, Matt Rife, great at fucking crowd work. They but it's not all they're known for. Do you know what I mean? They're known for
Mm.
being funny, but to people not in comedy, that's what they sort of go to. So then they have the expectation of a show being crowd work. And
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
that is the issue.
I think I'm quite good at crowd work. Can't lie. The way I'd always advise it: start off with just closed questions. Like, oh, like, I'm 5'10". Is there anyone short in the audience? You're gonna get a yes or no. I'll ask you to stand, but there's no point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you know exactly where it's going either way. But how I learnt crowd work was not by watching comedy. I learnt it, and I've said this about a couple of times over. But I forget the name of the fucking show. The 1%, Lee Mack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
he's
Do you watch it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Me and my parents nearly signed up to go on it this series because my dad got so obsessed with it that he wanted us to go on it. And Lee Mack, amazing,
But watch
amazing.
him next time you watch it. Watch him. Like, I always do really well on it, but I always get the first question wrong. And it's like, this is bullshit. I've got all the way now. But
So you're
what?
like incredibly intelligent at the higher level stuff, but
Yeah,
lower level stuff not so good.
the annoying
That is the
question.
story of my life.
But if you watch Lee Mack when he does it, like watch his crowd work, it's so natural, but it's
Mm,
genius. So he'll ask a question, and if he's got nothing, he'll ask another question, nothing, another question, nothing, another question until he's got something. Then he'll hit. And I think a lot of
yeah,
comedians start off one, be like, "So what do you do for a living?" "Oh, I'm a plumber." "Fuck, I have
yeah,
nothing." "Okay, so how long have you been doing that for?" "Okay, like, do you do big houses, small houses? Da da da. Are they big tubes, little tubes? Da da. Commercial business. What sort of plumber are you?" That until you keep going, until you find something to hit, and
yeah.
but it's just buying you time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's it, is because the thing that's daunting, I guess, about crowd work is that it's so unpredictable. You've got no idea what you're going to get. And the audience member, depending on what they're like, they might be really shy and not wanting to give much information.
Yeah,
So you might be like trying to like pull blood out of a stone, or you might end up accidentally picking on the person and asking what they do, and they're the one that thinks they're the main character and tries to make loads of jokes, and then it's really awkward. So there's a real art, and I think you're exactly right. Lee Mack's really good at this, and it's the 1% Club's a really good example because the people in there, it's their first time ever on telly for a start, and they're just normal weird people from around
yeah.
the world, and he's got to try and make what they're saying funny, and and that's the skill, and I do really admire that. And I think there is a balance. I think that if you are going on stage and just doing crowd work the whole time, there's a skill to that if you're making jokes out of what they're saying.
Yeah.
If you're going on stage and just kind of using what they're saying and making them awkward, and that's the only thing they're doing, and you don't have any material that you've written and worked on, that's a bit like eh. But 9 times out of 10, there is so much skill in crowd work that I don't think you can't discount it. It's not like, I disagree with the whole, if you do crowd work, you're not a real comedian. I don't think that's true. I think that it's part of the comedy experience, like the fact that a comedy gig, people talk about the alchemy of the room. That part of that is the fact that the audience needs to be engaged,
Yeah,
and so
bringing
crowd
them all
work is
together.
absolutely part of that. I think that, yeah, you can't discount it at all. I think if you've got a 5 minute set and you come on and ask a audience member to just like
What's your life
talk about
story?
themselves
Yeah,
for a bit,
make it 4 minutes,
yeah,
50 seconds worth, please.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a balance, and I think, and don't do it unless you are good at it. Don't make it your thing unless you are somebody
Yeah.
that's really good at it. So someone that's
Tripping on.
Mark, who's it? Mark Simmons. Jokes. He does this. He does a podcast called Jokes with Mark Simmons, I think his name is.
Mark Simmons, ginger guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
one liner.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But he does a lot of crowd work with that. So I think that is an example of when he's both using his comedic skill and interacting with the audience. And
Yeah.
I think that's where the real so like as you say, like you are able to ask questions until you find something, and then you will make it funny. That's the skill of crowd work. If you're
Do you
just
know the
kind of,
beautiful thing about crowd work and one-liners?
what's
Most
that?
beautiful thing? Clickbait.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so
Viral
easy for the
clips.
social media. Like
Yeah, people love it,
you
don't
could
they?
eat dick for an hour on stage. You can get 10 seconds worth of good material doing crowd work or one line in comedy.
Yeah,
That's why they get known more quicker than storytellers.
yeah,
Like, who the fuck's gonna sit there and listen to a 3 minute story on their phone? That's
yeah.
why.
Yeah, it take ages to try and get a clip out of one of my sets.
Yeah.
Although I did the gig that I did recently. It was a 10-minute spot. And about halfway through, the because the other thing that that does well is when things go wrong. About halfway through, there was this walkie-talkie for one of the, I think it was like a security person's walkie-talkie or something, was
Yeah.
on the table next to the stage, and it started like somebody was talking through it like really loudly, and to the point that I couldn't continue. And I just made a joke about giving my nephews whiskey to get them to go to sleep,
Calm.
and then this walkie-talkie had started going off, and so obviously in the moment I was then like, oh my God, they're coming for me. Like, it's because I've told you that I've given my nephews whiskey. And it was fine in the end. But then when I came off stage, one of the other comedians came up to me and was like, "Did you record that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think somebody was recording." He was like, "The bit with the walkie-talkie, that's your viral clip." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." It's when it goes wrong, or it's those little bits that kind of, as opposed to your material, and that's the way it is. You just have
It,
to. That's how
it,
social media works.
I tell you, I loved that story, and I hated it also.
Yeah, I
Loved
know.
it.
Yeah, I love it and hated
I
it as
loved it
well.
went well. Loved it went well. Love that bit. The bit I hate about that story is, oh my god, this is the bit that can make you viral.
Yeah,
There's no being in the moment. It's always, what am I doing now to
yeah,
become, internet famous, not just being in the common comedian moment. And dude, we are
yeah.
all guilty of it. And it wasn't you, it was the other comedian.
No,
Yeah.
I know. I know that feeling that you have.
Mm.
That's how I felt in the moment. I'd had a really lovely 10-minute set.
Yeah.
It was my first paid gig. I was really happy. It had gone really well, and I'd been in the moment. I'd done some crowd work, and I'd played off of something that had gone wrong. And it was when I think, bless him, he meant well.
Oh
But
yeah,
when
it
he said
did mean nothing
that, I
disingenuous by
remember
it. Like,
remember thinking like, yeah, no, that really kind of takes me out of the enjoyment that I'm feeling, because I don't post clips at the moment up
mm,
onto my Instagram. I kind of I've launched the fact that my Instagram profile now says that I do comedy. I it's I resent social media,
yeah, 1,000,000%.
as I'm sure so many of us do. And it's so conflicting. I find it overwhelming. I think it's one of those necessary evils that I'm trying to figure out the way that I want to go with it. But yeah, it's hard work. And when the fact that the clips that go viral are those hecklers or crowd work
Mm.
or things that are going wrong, means that not all people that come to see comedy, are expecting something that's not what I believe comedy is. That makes me sad.
Yeah,
Because there's so much more to it than just, what's your name? That's a stupid fucking name.
yeah.
That's great and it's funny in the moment, but when you think that that's everything, then you get an audience of people that are coming there going, oh yeah, you're just going to talk to me now, and they come with like, you get blokes that are really drunk, and they come with like a list of little jokes on their hand. They're like, just in case they get picked on, and they're going to try and make jokes to try and heckle the comedian. And I think that's not why we're here. Just sit down and listen to me for a minute. It's just, yeah, so there's a balance.
When you say what's your name, I've got to go back to Adam Ray doing Dr. Phil. I've got to. I was, what's your name? Now, John, I don't like your attitude, John. And it just completely froze it. It's just, I don't know why. It's so stupid. Like, John, I don't like your attitude, John. It's just like so brilliant. And
I
like,
love that. I love those little like random things that when you explain it, it doesn't sound like it's funny, but in the moment, it's just the spontaneity of it
yeah,
and how random and weird it
because
is. It's
he
like the
wasn't having
funniest
an
thing ever.
attitude.
Yeah,
And it's like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a plumber. Okay, calm down. It's just like it's genius. And like,
I love that. I must look at this boat.
you really got to do that. So, okay, the one hopefully you haven't experienced, but being a younger lady, I'm trying to be
Mm.
as PC as possible. But you're an attractive young lady. Comedy is full of fucking weirdos. Dot dot dot.
Yeah. This is an interesting one actually, because I think on the face of it, comedy has come so far in terms of like female comedians
Million
and
percent.
like
Yeah.
and I'm so grateful, and I think it's brilliant.
Hashtag bitches be funny.
100%.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
I volunteered. I helped out with the Funny Women finals the other week. I was kind of running around backstage and helping out with that, and that was the most amazing night because it was just celebrating all of that or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that that's
What's her
great.
name? What's her name? Who owns that?
Lynn Parker.
No, not my one then. No, my up north. Sorry, I didn't have Amy Perry. I've got her coming
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
She runs Beat the Frog, and she's doing the Women Are
yeah.
Funny comedy festival. So I was like, oh
Oh, bless. Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, no, I've been to a few Funny Women things, and I've worked and helped out with them a lot, which has been really lovely. So that side of it is great. We've seen loads of female comedians do well. I think that the open mic scene is tough
yeah.
because we get some great gigs. Like TNT is run by Sama. She's wonderful.
Oh, she's awesome. Yeah,
There are, and objectively there are less of us, so the lineups are always like, I'm 9 times out of 10 it's me and maybe one other woman
yeah. I say one in
on the
six.
lineups.
1 in 6 is
Yeah,
the stat I've
yeah,
commented.
which is fine, but it can fit, you can feel drowned out, and it can it the thing is that when you walk onto the stage as a woman, audiences expect different things from you than what they expect from men. And
Yeah.
if you're the only woman on the bill, that means that you're then trying to play into all of these expectations. And it is really hard. And you do have to figure that out. The other thing that's complicated is when you get creepy people. And
Mm.
luckily, it's a lot less common.
Yeah.
And in London, there's an awareness of it because the progressive London, young people, it's great. But I've been to gigs where it's just like the MC's staring at you, you feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable. It's like, and I'm not going to say who or what or where. I had a gig, and I remember
Oh, we're
I
so
went as
talking
a,
after this. So I've got a
I
list as
went,
well. Like,
I went as a bringer, and the two MCs were just really like just making loads of sexual jokes, but
yeah.
um, just talking to me, and then afterwards like asked me to meet up,
Spotlight's
and
on you, not the
messaging
stage.
me. I know, it's so weird, and they kept like, yeah, so then messaging me afterwards and things like that, or you get gigs where you go and some like, and it is just, I went to a gig where this really old guy was up, and I think I kind of touched on it earlier, but he just
I
went
can
up there
tell.
and made jokes about like the fact that he's really annoyed that he can't assault women anymore and stuff like that. And you're kind of sat in the audience thinking, I know what you're trying to do. I don't know if you're trying to like have an angle on this, but there was no angle. And it's so easy to then just feel very unsafe and
Yeah.
very like, and and the other thing is when people say to you, oh, you should talk about sex, talk about your boobs more. Like, people love that. Like, the audiences
Period
love that.
jokes,
Yeah.
way, all that shit.
I no, I can't. I
Yeah,
don't want to. Like, that's not my kind of comedy. I
respect that.
respect. I'm sure there are loads of female comedians that make sex jokes really funny, but that's not me. So I don't want to be
Yeah.
told to make more of a thing out of my tits.
Mm.
Mm, I just done a gig that had gone really well where I talked about politics or something,
Yeah.
and this guy after was like, "Oh, do you know what you should do? What's really great is when female comedians they talk about like dating and like blowjobs and stuff." I'm like,
No.
no.
There's a hidden agenda in that, dude.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh
it's
god.
it's
Oh,
a
she's talking about
minefield, really.
sex. Wait, does she have sex? Oh my god, I have sex. Maybe we could have sex.
Oh my God,
Oh,
yeah,
down the
yeah.
rabbit hole.
And if you mention that you're
Fucking
single on stage, if you say, because at the moment I've been working on some stuff, and I mention that I'm single, and you come off, and it's like all of there's these like male comedians just go,
real talk on this. I've got a good female comedian mate. I won't say her name, but when she goes on stage, she takes her ring off because she's always
yeah,
guaranteed to get a better response.
yeah. It's so sad that that's true. It's so
Yeah,
sad that that's true. Do you find that with blokes? Do you think? Do you think
a
that
lot.
men there's a similar? Do you think that male comedians debate telling people that they're whether they're single or in a relationship, or whether that
No, because most male comedians are ugly. Honestly, that's why we got into it. Like, do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, that's the most easy. But being like not men, men. I think you got your creeps, your weirdos.
Mm.
The more worrying ones are the chivalrous ones, the ones who
I know
act
exactly what you
on your defense. It's like if I saw something, I'll be like, dude, uncle, like fucking drop it. But they're like,
Oh my
oh,
God.
I must protect, I must speak on her behalf, protest the lady, protest all that shit. Oh, I'll drive you to the gig, all that shit, bruv. People see through it now. People see through your fucking soy boy shit. I did a joke the other night, okay, and it's not about that anymore. Um, about being a twin. I'm a twin. My twin's a doctor. I always do the afterthought. Oh yeah, it's always shitty being the afterthought on your own birthday song. Brilliant bit, always kills. And comedian Gabby was on before me. She's a disabled comedian in a wheelchair. And I was like, I knew Gabby was a twin. I was like, was anyone else a twin? And like, I sort of then I was waiting for Gabby to say yes. I was like, oh, what was the time difference between you and your twin? And then she was like, oh, it was about 9 hours. I was like, well, of course it was. Your mum had to push a fucking chair out. She pisses herself laughing. The audience laugh, but there was a couple of people who look around to see if it's okay to laugh at that.
I get so I so that vibe is so interesting to me. I was talking I went to a writing gym the other day, and I was talking to
A
another
writing gym.
female. Yeah, Bill Murray, they do a writing gym. It's you go, it's not a gym,
I was
you go
half
and
kidding,
write.
like you like jabbing
Yeah,
with
yeah.
punchlines and shit.
Yeah,
Knock
yeah, yeah,
knock.
yeah. Of course, I'm a kickboxer turned comedian. I have to
There's a
combine the
niche.
two.
There you go. The first
There you
actual
go.
proper joke writing gym. Wherever shit you get a left hook.
No, I went to, so it's like a writing like workshop or whatever. But I was talking to a female comedian who's also in a wheelchair while we were there, and we were laughing about the kind of the bus ramp thing and how awkward that is, and we got talking about the fact that one of the things about comedy audiences and just audiences in general is that it's like they need permission to laugh, or
Yeah.
like they don't know what's allowed and stuff. So my friend who I gig with a lot, he's from Hong Kong,
Yeah.
and I talk quite a lot about like left wing politics and feminism and stuff like that. So whenever there's a joke about like women or something like that, he looks at me like to check that I'm laughing, and I always am, because I
Yeah.
find those. I'm not going to go, oh, you can't say that, because I find it funny. Because as long as it's a good joke, I'll be
Yeah.
laughing. You know, something about women being bad drivers. That's funny because it's a cliche, and it's stupid and it's not true. That's why it's funny. Things like that. So
Oh,
he'll
I
always
saw
look
on
at
the
me
other day
like,
on my hate. Someone did it on the other day was like, you can't joke about stereotypes. It's like what?
that's all jokes.
That's all we fucking do. Can you imagine
Also,
being the
it's
only
that
black
thing
guy in
is,
a crowd when they tell a
yeah,
black joke? You must feel the eyes on the back of
yeah.
your head.
But you see it happen. I've seen that happen in audiences. But the thing is, if the comedian's done it right, then
Yeah.
what they're doing is making a joke about how stupid that stereotype is.
Yeah.
That's what's funny. And so the fact that the female comedian in a wheelchair laughed, what shows that it's like it's this weird. I don't know if it's more British or if you get that in America as well, but it's like they don't know what to do. And
Yeah. I think
so
it's
me
more
and my
British.
I mean,
I think it's more
yeah,
British.
it's like, but once you get a laugh from that and the audience knows that they can laugh,
Yeah.
I think that's some of the most like real organic comedy. It's very funny.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
100. Yeah, but like, yeah, consent to laugh. I think Jimmy Carr does that, or like he opens all his specials with like, right, you find it's funny, laugh. You don't find it funny, don't laugh. Don't wait around to see if everyone else is laughing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it infuriates me. But yeah, that's the beauty. It can bring a room together. But yeah, people are just so worried about. I don't know, like if I laugh at that, do I look like a dickhead and stuff? And like going back to like these weird slime ball like soy boy cucks, all that trying to defend people on their
Oh
behalf
yeah, that was it.
and all their shit.
Yeah, see that I really struggle with that, because it's such false, because the idea that they're putting across with that is like, I'm a feminist, I protect women, I know all of this. But what it really is, it's really patronizing
Million
for a
percent,
start.
million
One
percent.
of the things I really hate, that I can talk for myself, I can stand up for myself, I know what I'm fucking doing,
Yeah,
being a human being. I don't, that you make me feel small and unworthy and like I need protecting. I don't need that. I want to be treated like an equal. I want to be treated like I deserve to be here. I don't want to be treated like I need to be pandered to.
yeah.
That's one thing. And I think the other thing is, I met someone in passing at a gig. It was this bloke, and he went, "Oh yeah, I run an all female comedy night. And I thought, but thinking about it at the time, I was like, so
Does
you
his name begin with L?
MC possibly? I
Is
can't
it
remember. It was.
is he a tall guy?
Uh,
Is he a
well,
big guy?
I didn't meet him. My friend met him
Is
and
he a
told
big
me,
guy?
so I don't know. Possibly.
He's a soy boy cuck.
I remember thinking really weird, and I said so. My friends from Hong Kong, and I said, I feel weird about this. Is this like me saying to you, I'm going to start running an MC, an all Asian comedian night?
Yeah,
And he was like, yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, you don't need to insert yourself into that. Just let,
yeah,
if you want, if there's going to be an all female comedy night, grand, let them do it themselves. Like, why does it need a man? Like, so
mm.
that fucks me off a hell of a
Oh,
lot more than somebody on stage making a joke where they say women are bad drivers or something like that.
yeah,
Because as long as they're not, as long as they don't,
mm,
for some strange reason, actually believe that all female people are bad drivers, which obviously they don't believe that, then it's funny. Do
yeah,
you know, like I'm that it annoys me so much to be like, oh no, you can't say that. That's an outdated
yeah,
stereotype. Well, no, because if you're making a joke about it, and the whole performance itself is actually progressing the idea of how stupid it is that female drivers were seen as, do
yeah.
you know what I mean?
It's ridiculous. I mean, my best one I heard was do you know why Asian people are bad drivers? Like, I love this one so much because in Westernized civilization, how do we say thank you when someone goes past? Cheers, like we wave, yeah. They have
Yeah.
to bow so they can't see above the window anymore. I just thought that was so fucking clever. Like, but no, that's funny. That hits a stereotype, switches it back to being funny.
Yeah.
But then imagine, like,
Yeah.
oh no, you can't say that. Asians are bad drivers. They're not saying that. They're
Yeah.
hitting on a stereotype. How stupid it is. And
Yeah.
but it's
And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty, like for me. And that's such a cliche thing to say, that that's the beauty of comedy or whatever. But that is what drew me to it. Is, and I am somebody that likes kind of hour-long Edinburgh specials and things like that. I know that some people get judgy about that or whatever, but I really love watching a comedian get really like and but be really funny and have really well crafted material, but make a genuine point and be talking about real things and real people and shifting perspectives and making fun of the stupid things that we do in the world and making fun of the idiots of the world
yeah,
and just bringing it all together and being humble and all of that. When that comes together, some of the most, I mean, the times that my perspective on life has changed, the times that I've kind of walked away from comedy gigs and been like, oh wow, that really made me think, or that really made me laugh, and you go away, you've got like such adrenaline, you're like so happy. That's what it can be. If we keep like kind of picking it apart and there's two sides of it, because there are people that come on stage and just are really bigoted, and it doesn't work
yeah.
because they've done it wrong. Like there are people that make jokes
There's
that are
agenda
just not
pushers.
funny.
There's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
TED talk.
There
Like,
is, exactly, there are two sides of it. There's, because you do, I mean, there are some things that just like, and there are comedians that made jokes or whatever, or said something in a way that I have agreed is like, and but 9 times out of 10, the reason that you go is because it's like, okay, well that wasn't funny because it wasn't a joke.
mm,
So what you've done there is just gone on stage and gotten really angry because you are racist or
yeah,
something like that. Whereas when somebody comes on stage and makes a joke about racism in a funny way,
yeah,
that's very different. So as long as, my thing has always been, as long as the person themselves is not a racist, misogynist, or any of those things, and they are smart enough to deliver their material in a way that is subverting the kind of narrative and making people look at things in a different way and making fun of the darkest things of in society,
yeah,
that's really funny and that's really wonderful, and I think that that's really important
yeah.
as long as that doesn't involve somebody coming on stage and quite literally just being, as long as you're not a cunt, and
See,
it's fine.
I agree with you on all of this. The one thing I will challenge though is I like listening to them. I like listening to bigoted racists because because I don't agree with them, obviously, but I like to think, how have you come to this conclusion? You like to try and get into their mindset. Like, okay, what's made you reach this? I don't agree
Yeah.
with what you're saying, but I like to think why you think this.
I think it's really important that we do listen to
So
them
that's why
because
you
I
can't
think,
cancel ever. Anyone's got the
yeah,
right to say whatever they want,
I
because
know what you
then you've got to be
mean. I
smart
think,
enough to, It's like, I know it
yeah,
sounds horrible. And this sounds weird. I would like to, and obviously, I am 1 million billion quadrillion% against this. I would love to speak to a Nazi and be like, so how?
I
Talk to
used to
me.
want to be
Why?
Louis Theroux. I used to want to be Louis Theroux when I was
Oh,
growing up for that
Mosaic
exact
family in
reason.
America, fucking bangs.
Because my thing, so obviously I'm quite a
Yeah.
politically engaged person. I've written about things, misogyny and all of that kind of thing. Like my thing is that if I can't, I don't understand those people. I don't understand, like Nigel Farage, for example, because I make a
Yeah.
joke about him. I don't understand how his brain has led him to this point, and all I want to do is sit down and fucking just get him to explain it to me,
Yeah.
not in one of his TikTok videos where it's the way that he wants it to be or any of
Yeah.
that
No,
shit.
not
I
some
want to sit
PR
down like a
clickbait.
therapist. Exactly. I just want to understand it. And 9 times out of 10, that's where you get your comedy material from,
Yeah.
is pointing out how fucking mental it is. Like Elon Musk or Steve Bannon, like all of those people that just have the most insane things that they say. And you're
Yeah.
like, it doesn't make any sense. And if the world if the world was righteous in any way, then eventually people will realize just how fucking mental everything that those kinds of people say is. But if they are not allowed to talk, nobody will realize how mental they are.
Yeah. That's
So
like Charlie Kirk thing
they
with someone, isn't
become
it?
exactly they become a martyr.
Yeah.
They become a martyr because what it look because people haven't actually had time to ingest what they're actually saying and go, oh, hang on a minute, you're mental. Whereas if you see, people, the reason that they get so much traction is people will see like a clip where they've said something like out of context, very witty, and then they're like, "Oh, I actually believe that guy." What I think, oh yeah, yeah, all immigrants are evil. All this is evil. Women should be in the kitchen, and all of that. Whereas
I disagree with two
then,
of them points. No, I'm joking. You have me
exactly,
until the
yeah, but
women
that's
in
what
the
I mean.
kitchen bit, Ella. God,
But it is exactly that. It's like you have to, and I mean, for me, I will admit that I will sit down and watch like a Nigel Farage speech because I'm sat there with my notebook going, well, that's fucking mental. Going to make a joke about that,
yeah.
So
I said,
it's,
like, would you
yeah, I
rather listen to
think
someone who has everything aligned with you, or someone who's the complete parallel opposite? It's to me, it's
echo
always the
chamber,
parallel.
yeah.
Like,
Learn about it, laugh at it. That's what I've learned. Instead
yeah,
of like, so what it used to be is that I would avoid it because it just made me sad because I'd be like, oh, he exists and he's saying those things and people are listening to him and that's really sad. And it is sad and it is scary and some of these things are really serious, but what comedy has given me alongside an ability to talk about these things seriously is the ability to watch those things and go, this is fucking mental.
mm.
Now I'm going to sit here and try and figure out a way how to the best way that I can to show how mental that is thing that you've just said.
A
You
million
know,
percent, a million percent. But I think at a workplace, you got to be careful what you say. You know what I mean? Because HR love hearing a joke, but you can't gatekeep. You can't censor comedy. I've said this on the last two episodes, and I stand by this so much. Deepak Patel told me this, and it stuck with me. Do you remember who? Do you know who like the first? I think it was official comedians were in society.
court jesters.
Yes. Well done.
They were there to tell the king when he was wrong.
They were the only people who was allowed to mock the king. The only person who was
Yep.
allowed to look at. Oh, fucking 10 points for you because you're a fucking book nerd.
Beautiful. No, but I agree with you. No,
Let
that's
me
not a
down.
letdown.
Share my words. Can I do that again? Do you know who the first comedians were?
Who?
Wait, obviously cool jesters. How the fuck didn't you know that? You work in a fucking bookshop, you fucking loser.
No, I'm with you. That is absolutely true, and I think I love that, and I think that one because what I forgot earlier what you were saying about the when you told the joke about the girl
Muslim
in the
joke.
wheelchair.
Oh, got one. Yeah.
No, the woman in the wheelchair.
Do you know her surname's Rolls?
Of
Fucking brilliant,
course
isn't
it
it?
is.
Yeah,
I
meant
think
to be.
because something someone said once was the idea that if you're trying to figure out if a joke is funny or it's offensive,
Mm.
it's whether or not you would be comfortable to tell it in front of the people that the joke's about.
Yeah.
So if I were to stand in front of a group of women and make a joke about women,
Mm.
would if I felt that those women would rightly be offended by what I was saying, then it's not funny. That's a joke. That's
Yeah.
bigotry. Whereas if it's like what you did, which is you made a joke about, a silly joke about a funny joke about the wheelchair,
Mm.
she laughed. The idea that she knows and she understood that you were intelligent enough to tell that joke in a way that you were not denigrating or discriminating or making fun of her or people like her in any way. You were making fun of the situation, you were making it into something enjoyable for the
Mm.
entire audience, and that is what's important.
But also
And if you
the
can do
one I'd
that,
add on is for that. Imagine, and I can't. I think Ricky Tracy said. So I was saying I do gay jokes, Muslim jokes. But imagine if I said no. You know what? I'm not going to do disabled jokes. That's me based saying that demographic can't defend itself, which
yeah.
they can. She can defend herself. Like I said, my Muslim joke got so much hate by
Mm.
middle-aged white people. It was unreal. But the day after, when the
Yeah.
hate came out, I texted to my boy Abdul. I was like, "Look, I did this joke. You've heard me do this joke." He was like, "Dude, it's a funny joke. Fuck them."
Mm. That's the same thing with what you were saying about the soft boy cuck thing.
Yeah,
I'll be in an audience,
soft
and
boy.
somebody
Can't.
will be
I love
making
that name.
joke
I love it
about
so
women or
much.
something like that, and you'll see blokes that are going like, "Oh, you can't say that," or sort of like those kind of people, and I'm like, or like trying to stick up for me or something like that. I'm like, hang on a minute, I will decide what I find offensive. I will
Yeah,
decide whether or not I am a woman. I like what you can't don't make that decision for me. I understand what he's doing. I understand that that person has made a joke that's funny, and I'm going to laugh. You don't have to like performatively like cancel him in front of
yeah.
me. This unless like unless somebody went on stage, pointed at me, and went, "I want to rape you" or
Oh,
something like that. Do you know
a
what I
million
mean?
percent. If I was like, right, I've got a joke about cancer. Who's got cancer? You do, right? This joke's about you. Then it's like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
that's
you are being
very
a prick.
different.
But then
Yeah,
that's taking the comedy out of it. That's that's targeting
yeah,
something.
yeah. 100%. It's I mean, there's like the whole thing of like white middle class British people like shouting about being offended by things that then the people that they're being offended on behalf of
I'm not
are
lying.
laughing at.
They're worse than white women now. Just thrown out there. Just thrown out there. We have taken the achievement a little bit, haven't we? We
Mm.
have, But there's no Karen Mal version. Darren.
Simp. It's the simp energy, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
What name would it be?
I
What name would it be?
I call a lot of promoters, not a lot of promoters, I shouldn't say that. Bad semen. Like it's the worst sperm that won the race. Like you give off
It's
bad semen energy.
is it I think when and like people have loads of brothers, I don't know whether it's that the testosterone decreases or increases depending
Decreases.
on
Decrease.
it decreases,
My
does it?
family decrease. I'm the youngest.
That's
Like
the interesting because my dad's one of three brothers, but in like chronological order, they get more traditionally masculine. So they've gone like the other way. Like the youngest is like a rugby player.
okay,
Um,
I'm so my older brother is ginger and about 5'8". My twin, who's 30 seconds older than me, IVF and cesarean, mum's still a virgin. Um, that pussy has remained intact. Uh,
that's disgusting.
I can prove it. I've got the pictures. No.
You've got an
Um,
older brother.
older brother and a twin. Twin 30 seconds. He's 6'4", blonde, and
Ooh,
I'm five
your
foot.
twin is 6'4" and blonde.
Yeah, and a doctor.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, and I'm 5'11", so I'm 6 foot, and broad. Like we're very free. Yeah, it's like
That's really interesting.
mailman, fireman, all that shit. But
You've got plenty of material on that. That's excellent.
yeah, my whole twin bit is like about 5 minutes long. Easy. It's my core five. It's such an easy go to.
Yeah.
So one and I'll start to wrap it up because otherwise it'll
Mm.
be Sunday in a second. Um, uh, you know, we're going 4 months out. What's the worst thing you've seen someone do on stage?
Oh, it's between two.
Okay. And by the
What?
way, I've just done a compilation of my top five for the first 100 episodes, and I would let you know if it even hits top 10. Okay.
Yeah. To be fair, I've been quite lucky. I've not seen anything too crazy. I think the most recent one that was really just awful was an old bloke that had gone on stage. Nobody had laughed at anything. It was like dead in the room, and he started getting really angry about the fact that nobody listens to him anymore because he's an old man, and that back in his day, he was really cross about the fact that upskirting had become a crime, which is like when you take a picture underneath the girl's skirt.
Unfortunately, I am aware of that before you had to explain it to me. Like,
Yeah. He was really mad that that had become a crime because he used to really enjoy shining his boots and putting them underneath a girl's skirt so he could see their vagina. And he
there's
thought
fucking
that
mirrors on his shoes.
yeah, yeah. So he went on about that, but it wasn't like it wasn't the words itself that was the worst thing. It was the fact that the room was silent and he got more and more angry
He doubled
that we
down. He
weren't
kept
finding
doubling
it
down.
funny.
Yeah.
And it was just so awkward. And he ended up pointing to me in the audience and he was
Brilliant.
like, "How old are you?" And I went 23. And he went, "Yeah, well, what that means is in 40 years' time, no one's gonna fucking laugh at your jokes." And I was like, "Oh, okay. This is really bad." And it was just awful. And the other one was
How old was
this
he when
I
you
was
say old?
like 70.
Okay, calm. Because when you said four
Yeah, yeah.
years, I'll be old. I was about to hate on that. You think 27's old?
No, 40 years.
Oh, 40 years. Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
33. So, like, when I say I'm old, people must absolutely fucking hate on it.
The other one was I was at an open mic gig and there'd been some dropouts. So the MC, this guy at the had said that, "Oh, can I go on for 5 minutes?" And he'd never done it before. And because it was a really dead gig, the MC was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And this guy came up and he was pissed out of his mind, this young bloke who happened to work at Waterloo. And he just came up on stage and went, "I've never done a comedy gig before." He read out three jokes word for word from Seinfeld, did a Boris Johnson impression that was like a Chinese accent,
Yeah.
and then went, "Yeah, fuck you all," and walked off stage. And
Oh,
that
no, I
was,
don't
yeah.
mind that. I don't mind that for a first timer. Like,
Yeah, to be fair, it was
hmm,
awfully awkward in the moment, but I
yeah.
remember afterwards talking to the MC and being like, "Do you know what? Like,
Yeah.
like
Uh, well,
he's done it." Yeah,
I'll give you the number one I've been told. Okay.
go on then.
And like I was saying, I always say everyone before I do a video, I'll never cut anything, I'll never edit anything. This episode I didn't want to put out
Really?
because it was about them, and I didn't want to put it out, but I was like, you know what? If they was comfortable enough telling me the story, fuck it. So it was her first gig. She didn't have all her marbles. Being polite.
Right.
Her first gig, she got up stage. I think she was in her 50s. The MC pulled down her trousers and shaved her pubes in front of an audience.
Oh my.
Yeah. Now, okay, now that I'm not defending this, I try and find the comedic element in anything. Like, okay, how could this be interpreted as funny? What was going through their mindset saying this is funny? And 100 days later, I can't think of it still.
I think this is the first time I've ever been speechless. I literally can't.
Yeah.
That's like one of those things where you're in the audience and you look at your friend and you're like, "Are we in a dream right now?
Yeah,
Like,
is this happening?
what the fuck is going on?" So
Well,
many of
no,
those
she
moments
said some of
happen.
the audience laughed. So I was like, okay, so what room are you in now?
What was the woman that? What was it pre-planned?
No,
What?
no,
Why?
no, I know, I know,
Painful.
I know.
Oh my. Okay, yeah, that tops anything I could ever have.
Hopefully. You know,
I'm really hoping I
I
never
don't want to get
experience
you on
anything
one
worse than
day and
that.
you're like, right, number one place is mine now.
I
Like,
beat it.
yeah,
If I come on like bags under my eyes, I've been here for a year.
yeah.
My God.
It looks like you've aged 40 years,
Like
mate.
Vietnam flashbacks. Like, oh,
Yeah,
let me tell you. I've got
alcoholic
all of your
decline.
not top 10 spots. I've got them all.
Yeah, yeah, that stands on number one by a country mile, to be
Bloody
honest.
hell.
I've heard people taking a
Bless
shit
them.
on stage, getting their dicks out, all that, but
I had that at a pub once. An old man. I used to work at a pub like frequented by like Hell's Angels biker gang.
Calm. Yeah.
They've got origins in Alton where I live, and the pub that I worked at, all of the old boys from Hell's Angels used to come and drink there, and
All
one of
the
them who had
leathers
been
on.
talking,
Yeah.
yeah, all the leathers always,
Is it
and none of them
sexy?
could breathe.
Is it sexy? Bikers?
No. Well, they're like 800 years old and they can't breathe and they're so drunk all the time that I don't know how they're still
Yeah.
alive. It's like they've pickled themselves.
I'm
But
trying to
one of
think.
them
If
spent the
I was
whole,
gay, would I be after a bad boy?
not these ones.
No. So I'm thinking about that too much. Sorry, back in the room.
But this bloke, one of them had spent the whole, his mate had just come out of prison for murder
Close.
after 30 years. But he spent the whole night talking about how he had a Prince Albert and nobody believed him. At the end of the
That's
night,
a piercing on the ring, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
at the end of the night,
I
he
hate
downed his beer, opened his flies, and just whipped his cock out on the bar. And he just shoved it there for about 2 minutes. And it had a Prince Albert on it, looked really mangled, flaccid cock, tiny. And then he put it back in and went, "See you later, lads," and just left. And that was like one of my first shifts.
I'm not gonna lie. If I went to prison and I had I would want my penis to be as least appealing as possible.
With you on that, I don't think I'd bejazzle it
Yeah, if
because
you're
I
going
feel
to
like
prison
that's
tonight, you're
asking
not
for
gonna get like a
trouble.
tit job, a lip filler tonight, are you?
Yeah.
You're like, ladies.
I make myself like as ugly as possible.
Yeah, the buzz cut, all
Read
that.
books. Just leave me alone. I'm just here for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but I don't know. Over 30 years, would you have to acquire a taste?
I don't know. I mean, you'd get frustrated, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, wait, am I coming out on this episode? I was like, would I be partial to it, dick, after 30 years? Fuck you now.
We'll
God,
never know. Hopefully.
yeah, I don't know who's it. Matt Rice was like, imagine after like being 80, like you're about to die, you're like, yo, let me try heroin or let me try cock, and you love it. You'd be like, oh my
See,
god,
that would be awful. You'd be like, "Oh, I've missed out all these
yeah,
years.
all these years
I should have
wasted.
been a heroin addict.
Yeah,
I fucking knew
yeah,
it."
I was missing something. It wasn't comedy. It was heroin I needed. Fucking brilliant. So I'll do a couple more. What time have you bombed the hardest?
Um, I think. Oh yeah. So I went. I had a gig. It was just an open mic. And it was like my second ever gig, second ever like proper open mic gig. It was at a lovely place, Healing Comedy. They're a wonderful,
Yeah,
like
Ely
really
Comedy's
great
fun.
club. But on the night in particular, the only audience members other than comedians were this Sikh family at because it's over in Ealing,
Yeah.
and
What does that mean? What does that mean?
well, just that there's a like a big community of Sikhs there. Anyway, it was they were the only people. It was this family, and they'd been drinking since 2 p.m. They were really lovely people, but they were really drunk, and I there was they did not want 23-year-old white woman to come on stage and talk. And I had a bit about religion, about like members of my family being like evangelical Christians, and how awkward it was. Like, and then I talked about a dildo. And
Yeah.
it was a set that had worked so well, like on my showcase and in my first gig, it had gone really well. And I was like, and I just kind of went through my material, and it was just like stone face.
Yeah.
The only person laughing was my friend who was also on the bill. And I remember making eye contact with this woman as I said the word religion,
Yeah.
and also as I said the word dildo, and she, who had been really vocal and laughing at everyone else, was just looking at me like I'd killed her child.
Brilliant.
And there's this
Video
moment
now.
because I know it was recorded as well, and there's this moment about halfway through when I just kind of like look at the floor and like laugh, and I know that in that moment is when I was looking at the floor and going, yeah, I'm just going to have to go through this. I'm just
Yeah.
going to have to just keep going and get my material out to a silent room.
Yeah.
And nobody wants me to be here. And I'm just going to have to do it. Yeah. And I look back on that video with tears in my eyes. But yeah, it happens.
Dude, a million percent, a million percent. I've done. My second gig was in Shoreditch. I did a gay joke in Shoreditch. Didn't land at all.
Yeah.
It was a misdirection joke. I'm proud of the joke. I don't care. The joke's quite simple. When a man and a woman get married, a woman's workload increases by 7 hours a week, and a man's workload decreases by an hour a week when they're married. That's why I'm against gay marriage. They get more time in the day, time to go gym, time to do their hair. It's not fair. In fact, if I sucked enough dick, I might be able to get myself a girlfriend. That's the joke. Nice, simple joke. But the fact that I said gay marriage, against gay marriage, obviously I'm not. And
Mm,
the fact that I'm against gay marriage, they hated it. You couldn't see the first audience member. The room was so dark. And it was just playing into the abyss.
yeah. Oh, I that is such a terrifying prospect.
And then when
And
audience members after try and give you advice. But, oh, cool. It's a second
it's
gig.
the amount of men that I have met that have gone, you know what you should do?
They say sweetheart.
Yeah, 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 or darling,
I
or
say darling. Oh, cheers, my love.
yeah, yeah. There's a way because I say darling actually, but there's a way that it's said, and it's that
Wait,
like
Kate Nash, darling.
yeah.
Have another beer,
There's
darling.
they look at you with this patronising look in their eye, and they go, "Very, very brave of you to go up there. Well, what you could do though," and it's like,
Suck a dick. Fuck off.
yeah,
The thing is though, like I've never experienced this as much until I got into comedy. I didn't realise how fucking clapped people are, to be honest.
no,
It makes good material. Go on, and
it
I'll end it
does,
with pardon?
it does.
It really does, yeah. But you know, it's not society. Most comedians are damaged people. But when they start off, they're lovely. When they made it, they're lovely. It's the middle tier. Like,
Yeah,
but everyone I've had on here has been lovely. I would say 92% of comedians are nice.
I agree. I think that it attracts some of the nicest and most genuine, funny, authentic, and fucked up people that are fucked up just like you. And
What?
and
What?
you really
I'm
meet
not fucked
like
up.
the. You just said that all comedians are fucked up. So you meet someone like your best, like the best crowd ever, then it also attracts because it's stand-up comedy, because it's a performative art, because
Yeah.
it lends itself to kind of arrogance. There is a very tiny subsection of kind of the worst. You
Yeah.
just have to try and stick in the 90%, and you're all right.
Yeah, yeah, a million percent. I mean, so I always jump on the tag when I ask this last question, but I'll say it now. Hey, no, I'll wait till you answer it first, and I'll jump on with my heroic bit. Um, go on, someone's never done comedy before. They go, "Hello, look, you've been doing it for 4 months. You're smashing it. I'm thinking of doing stand up. Can you give me some advice, please?" And you can't say just do it. Oh, you paused.
Don't
You paused.
think just do it's good
Your face
advice.
is
I
frozen.
think that.
Hello, wait, you've been having a stroke. There we go. We're
Oh,
back in the
you
room.
got me.
Semi now. You've gone from
Who
stroke
knows?
to there we go. There's the
I
fun now.
think I don't think just do it. I think um, people shit on courses. I think that they are brilliant. I think if you can find one that you can afford, I think that it's a really great way to just force yourself into doing something new with a group of people that are also completely new and don't know what they're doing. And it puts you on a stage at the end and just gets you going. And then once you're there, once you've done that, then the work starts. But the main thing, yeah, is start looking at the world through the lens of weird.
Mhm.
Just look at everything and try and explain it as if and try and think about the mechanics of it. That was the one thing that changed it for me is like you become an observer of the world and you start thinking about how weird loads of things are and then put yourself into that situation where you're in a group of people that are learning together and you meet that community and you get on stage and you do it for the first time to the group. I think that I really do advocate for courses and then just keep learning and keep writing.
Yeah, a million percent. Keep on writing. The one I always tag it with also is find your people.
Yeah, a
Find
hundred
your
percent.
community. Like, listen, consider your first couple of weeks in school like you're back in year 7. You get forced with some people. They might be nice, but go act like the hot popular girl in school. Go find your people and
And
find your clique, and then chill
start
with them.
start from a place of humility as well. Start embrace the
Humble
fact that
yourself. Fuck
you are
you.
so new to this. Like
Yeah.
it's if I find that what like for me, I was so lucky with the group of people I had, but from the course itself, like the thing that does is you meet a group of people, and if you walk in there going, I'm funnier than you, you're just not going to get anywhere. You're gonna and you have to just suddenly be like, okay, even though it's usually adults. Like I, for the first time, I'm like a new baby straight out the womb. Don't know what I'm doing. Going to embarrass myself. It's going to go wrong. But if you can just get over that first bit of being new and being scared, then there is so much amazing stuff that you can learn and enjoy and have fun with. So just yeah, drop the ego, go in there, be brand new, and be humble. And I mean, I'm still there now. I'm still learning, but and it's really fun and challenging to be new and scared and confused and looking for community. And I've met some of some lifelong friends already.
Yeah,
You get it.
yeah, 100%. I mean, it's like saying like soldiers and stuff. They might have only known each other for a couple of years, but they're brothers in arms for life because you got
Yeah.
to go through the same scars and stuff. And
Yeah.
everyone's scared. Everyone's nervous. Everyone still gets nervous to these days. Any comedian who if they've even been going 10, 15, 20 years says they don't get a little bit of butterflies before the stage is a
You
liar.
have to, otherwise you go on stage like still knackered from the day. Like you have to, that adrenaline comes. Like I remember you can be knackered all day and then right before you get on stage, you get this buzz and that's how you perform. Like the nerves are important. That's what makes you good.
Yeah. I mean, it was about my most important humble yourself. My first gig, I rocked up wearing sunglasses. And I just looked back, I was like, what a prick. What a bellend. I mean, I still have a bellend, everyone, you all know that, but it was. No, I'm more of a bellend now. Stand by it. Fuck it. Fuck the haters. I just say what I want now. Dude, it's been absolutely lovely having you on, man.
Excellent. Thank you for having me. Thank you for chatting to me and letting me talk like I know that I talk like an absolute dickhead.
You do. No, it was on the dude, honestly. And guys, everyone, thanks ever so much for watching. Cheers, Ella.
Cheers, mate.